Namaskaram, SWAMY ASWATHY THIRUNAL. Today we will enter into the control of the breath. There is a very important aspect in spiritual life. Why? Why do you give so much importance to this controlling the breath? Has it got to do anything with the liberation of your soul? Yes. It's a technique that our gurus have prescribed for controlling the mind. By controlling the breath, you're controlling the mind. You can experience it. You do it yourself and then you will experience it. Well, what's the basis of this? How can you control your own mind? Because you are using your own mind to control your mind. This question was asked by Sri Rama, the avatar of Mahavishnu, in Treta Yuga, thousands and thousands of years back. Sri Rama was not a very playful child. He was a serious child. Unlike Sri Krishna, he was not really sociable in his younger days. He was a gloomy child. So he was always sitting in the garden and thinking like that. So his father Dasharathan, he suspected something is wrong with the boy. So he asked his guru Vasishta Maharshi to counsel or to have a talk with him and see what's happening in his mind. So Vasishta and Sri Raman sits in a garden, and Sri Rama asks his doubt to Vasishta, and Vasishta replies. That book is called Yoga Vasishtam, one of the greatest books in yoga. It is very essential that the spiritualists, when you become advanced, go through the text. That's a very eye-opening text. Well, Sri Rama asked this question. You asked me to control my mind. Okay, but how can I control my mind with my mind? Because I have to use the tool called mind to control my mind. How can I use it? Then Vasishta says a simile. Rama, you are riding a chariot. The horses are running and you are holding the reins and you are riding the chariot. Well, suppose you want to get out of the chariot, what do? Then Rama said, of course, I get hold of the reins, then the horses stop, then the wheels stop, then I come out of the chariot. Then Vasishta smiled and said, yes, you were the part of the chariot, but you came out of it because you wanted to come out of it. Similarly, you are the part of your mind, right? You cannot have a direct control over it, but you can hold the reins. The breath is the secret. If you control the breath, if you get domination over your breathing, you can control the mind. I will give an example. You just sit with your eyes closed, right? Now, close your eyes and listen to me. I'll be clapping. And tell me how many times did I clap? Sometimes the sound will be very low, but you have to listen fully, have deep concentration of the sounds, and then I will ask you a question. Okay, let us start from that. Close your eyes and sit. I'm going to clap my hands. Go on counting. Okay, tell me how many times did I clap? Some will say 10, some will say 8, some will say 9. Whatever that is, the number doesn't mean anything. But what happened when you listen to this clapping? What happened to your breathing? The breathing became very low. How? the breathing almost stopped. You were listening to this clap sound, and then why should the breathing stop? Now you know the secret of breathing. See, you closed your eyes. So the brain didn't have that duty to understand things that your eyes give to the brain. Isn't it? That switch was off. Then you were concentrating on sound, so you forgot all other sounds. Otherwise, the brain will be analyzing so many sounds around. You will hear a plane, or you will hear the sound of a motorist. What are that? And suddenly this is analyzed and the result is given you. Oh, that's a car, or that's a plane, like that. That's a crow. Now you are listening to a particular sound. So the hearing stopped, the sight stopped. So the brain didn't want much energy to work. So it asked for a shutdown. So the breathing stopped because the energy, the prana energy that is essential for the working of the mind was minimized. That is the secret of breathing. When you control the breath, you have control over the mind. It is just like electricity. Electricity comes to your house, then we change it into mechanical energy in the fan, we change it into heat energy in the iron box, and we use it in a different ways, isn't it? But energy is the same. Similarly, when you breathe in, the energy that is in the breath goes into you. Along with the oxygen that you are breathing, it goes to every cell. Along with that, this prana, this energy also goes. And 90% of this energy is for the mind to work. The mind needs 90% of the energy. The body needs only 10%. So, when you started concentrating on a particular sound, the necessity was not there to have much energy. So, it asked the brain to cut the energy. So, what did the brain do? It controlled the breathing. So, see it from the other angle. If you control the breath, you can control the mind. So, controlling the breath is a very, very important aspect in controlling the brain. Well, one simple exercise is analomam vilomam. That's a very common yoga exercise, but that's a very powerful exercise. You can put your hand like this. In Dravida Yoga system, it is like this, but in Arya Yoga system, they use it like this. But Dravida Yogis use this right nostril, this finger, and closes the right nostril. And this is closed by the left nostril, right? So, close it. And then inhale up. That's called Puranam. Inhaling the breath. So, I close the right nostril. Then I close the both nostrils. That's called Kumbhagam. Then I close the left nostril and exhale through the right nostril. 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. 1 you are entering, 2 you are exhaling. Suppose you take 5 seconds to inhale. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then close the left nostril. So, suppose you have taken air through the left nostril. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Then close the breath. Then count up to 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's called Kumbhagam. That means holding the breath. Retention of the breath. Then close the left nostril and open the right nostril and breathe out in 10 seconds. 5 is to 15 is to 10. 1 is to 3 is to 2. That is, suppose you take 5 seconds or say 8 seconds in inhalation into 3, 24, retention, and exhalation, 16. Then start from the right nostril again, this time 8 inhalation, retention always 24, and exhalation 16. Like that, that's called analomam vilomam. Like that, practice the control of the breath. You are controlling the breath. So the brain understands the method of controlling the breath. because you're breathing in a particular pattern, which is not a natural pattern, not something that you naturally do. But of course, this is an exercise, and every exercise is a unnatural thing. That's a lesson to be learned. Okay, this is called analomam vilomam. Right nostril close, left nostril inhale, then close the breath, that is kumbhagam, and puragam, kumbhagam, rejagam. Rejagam means exhalation. Puragam, inhalation, kumbhagam, keeping the breath, rejagam, exhalation. 1:3:2 in this ratio. Well, that's a physical aspect. Then you add a mantra to it. Then that becomes spiritual. For example, suppose I chant the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. When you inhale Om Namah Shivaya, close the breath. That is kumbhagam. Then you have thrice this chanting. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, thrice. Then when you exhale, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, twice. So Puragam is 1, chanting of the mantra and holding the breath 3, and pushing out or exhalation 2. Like that, when you chant, your mind learns the technique of controlling the prana, and the mantra goes into your subconscious, and the subconscious searches for the answer. And the sadhanas that you have done in your last birth, they are stored there in your inside the computer, in your hard disk, and slowly that opens it for you. So in spiritual life, it is very important that you should control the mind. For controlling the mind, there are a lot of exercises in yoga, and this is a very common exercise. Even the priests who do puja in the temples, they do it like that. So because they get concentration because of that. Okay, now start doing analomam vilomam daily. Daily do it 8 times. Start with 8 times, then finally 16 times. Do it in the morning and the evening if possible. Otherwise, if you don't get time in the evening, or if you don't get time in the morning, do it once. The morning is very good. Evening also you can do that, but that will give you the control of the breath. That will give you control of the mind also. See, controlling of the subconscious and the unconscious is very important in spirituality. Unless you know the great art of controlling that, you won't be able to operate that computer that is inside you. So, best of luck. Keep chanting and breathing analomam, doing analomam vilomam. Om Namah Shivaya.